Hey there, I'm Delilah. Thank you for inviting me over into your space. I wanted to share a little bit about myself and to share on some projects that I finished, projects that I'm working on, and some of the things I am into right now with all of my things knitting. So my name is Delilah. I am married to Andre. I have two little girls. One is 3, her name is Camila. The other is actually 2 months, and her name is Calicia. I started knitting last year when my church was putting on a week-long event to promote missions and the missionary efforts that we do there. And there was an opportunity for me to be a part of what they were creating. And in the lobby, there was going to be yarn, it's like a yarn mobile where they would hang it in the ceiling and the yarn would come down, almost like a chandelier, but it would be more so yarn. So at that time, I was watching a rom-com, and that had to do with someone who owned a yarn shop, and then as all romance movies, she falls in love, something happens, and then they reconcile shortly after. Well, at that very moment, I just thought, what if I learned how to knit? And I did. I taught myself how to knit through YouTube. I had a very close friend of mine, Denise, who let me use a ball of yarn and some needles, and the rest was history, except I got pregnant in January. So about March, I started getting a sensitivity to the yarn, to the needles. Not sure what it was. In fact, my stomach would turn every time I would think about yarn, I would think about the needles. I love watching other podcasters, other YouTubers, and I couldn't even do that. So I let things go until she was born in October, just 2 months ago. And 3 weeks into maternity leave, I said, okay, let me try to do this again. And I did, and I am so excited that I was able to get back into it, and I love it. I think even more than before. I don't know, it was just, I love everything about knitting, about yarn, about needles, the notions, everything. So that's a little bit of my story. I wanted to share of my finished objects, and then we'll go into what I'm working on right now, and just a few tools that I have my hands and nose in at the moment. So in December of last year, I created this beanie, and it's a children's beanie. It is 100% acrylic. I did make the pom-pom as well, and this is the brim, and it goes all the way up like that. This is a children's beanie. I didn't realize when I made this beanie how great it actually was. I was very hesitant about the decreases. I didn't look very, how do I say, clean. But in fact, it's not blocked, and I actually should block it. So the next time you'll see me, I'll give you an update on this blocked object. But believe it or not, when I completed it, I was not happy with it at all. Now a year later, and I've polished my skills a little bit, and I realized, man, this is actually really good. So this is what I made last year, and this is one of the ones that I made when I started again, and this is blocked as well, and this is 100% acrylic, and this is another beanie. This one my 3-year-old daughter has been wearing. And I also made the pom-pom here. This is a 1x1 rib all the way around. I did do the decreases a little bit different. So you can see how these decreases are different. One thing I enjoy doing is I enjoy learning at least one thing every time I do a new project. Whether it's learning to decrease differently, or casting on differently, or maybe doing a brim 1x1 rib or 2x2 rib, and then the rest stockinette, and then decreasing differently. but every project I make, I try to learn something new. And one of my most recent, probably within the last 3 or 4 weeks, I made this beanie. It is for a friend of mine. I am gonna give this to her, but if I can tell you my honest opinion, I don't love it. I'll tell you why. So this is a cap, and it has actually 6 blue stockinette stitches. So this is 1, 2, 4, 6. The reason why I put them blue, because she likes royal blue, or blue that represents the earth's water, because she loves globes. The reason why I put 6 is because there are 6 very important people in her life, and so I wanted to incorporate 6 stitches on this beanie, and it is more so of a capped beanie. It does not have a brim, but it just, I love the way this beanie came out. It actually came out quite perfect, if I can say that, but I'm not in love with these 6 stitches. I think I'm gonna gift it to her anyway and kind of just see. So I've had this for some time now, and I'm still hesitant with giving it to her, and yeah, I think I should just give it to her and let her say what she'd like to say about the gift. But I gifted that to her. And so those are the beanies that I have finished. I started with beanies because they're easier to manage. This was in worsted weight 100% acrylic, and this is super chunky by Premier Yarns, and its color escapes me, but it's a 1-ply wool yarn, and it's just a quick fix. Honestly, you can just knit it in 1 day. This one was probably 2 hours, but I enjoy doing beanies again because they're short and they're quick. It does take me a couple days if I do the worsted weight one, because I am a mom and my children need me. So I enjoy doing beanies because of that, and I also get to undo my work. If I make a mistake, I get to go back and work it out. It's not too much of a hassle. So I personally wanted to take on another challenge, and that is to make a sweater. One of my favorite YouTubers, her name is Kutova Kika, and she is in Finland. I highly recommend her channel. She is such a sweet personality, very charismatic, and just super sweet. I love her accent. But she did have a sale on her pattern, and I snagged the cinema sweater pattern. This is what it looks like, and it's just such a cozy fit. I'm really enjoying the sweater that I started the day before Christmas Eve. So I did that the day before Christmas Eve. And the yarn here is by Lens du Nord Dolly Baby Extra Fine Merino Wool, the luxury line. So this is the one that I'm using, and this is fingering yarn. So I'm using 2 strands of Dolly Baby, and then I'm using silk mohair by M1, and it's riding on air, 72% kid mohair and 28% silk, and it is a lace weight. So here's the information for that. And look how gorgeous this is coming out to be. It's super fuzzy because of the mohair, but it's very soft, very soft. So I have 2 strands of Dolly Baby and 1 strand of the M1 Kids Silk Mohair. and this is going to be the collar. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is super squishy, and it's pink. I actually forgot to tell you the color. So Dolly Baby is in the color 400, and it's a pink peach color. And this one, the kid mohair silk, is in the color base Riding on Air, and it's called Soft Bouquet. But I absolutely love it. Love, love, love it. One thing I was very hesitant about is, although I love this pink color, I was very hesitant about the way it'll look on my skin. I consider myself pale. I mean, you may have a different opinion, but just, I don't know how well it would look on my skin, but I'm going to enjoy wearing it either way. Okay, so besides Ketova Kika in Finland, I also enjoy so much Taylor Earl. Her YouTube channel is Wool Needles Hands. She is unapologetic about what she enjoys. I love listening to her opinions about certain things in the knitting community. I love hearing her reviews on certain items, and one of the items she recently reviewed I actually purchased, and I'm really excited to get into. And it's just been so fun knitting, so fun with all of these projects. So went over the objects I finished. I went over the items that I am working on, which right now it's just the sweater. I don't know if I have time for anything else, but literally if I am nursing my daughter, I'm like, okay, one more row. If I am playing with my daughter, my 3-year-old, I'm playing with her, and then I was like, okay, it's quiet time, and I'll get 3 rows in, and that's literally the way I've been knitting this sweater. I wanted to share with you some tools that I've been using, some resources I have, and just sharing everything I'm into right now, and then an update will come along a little bit later. We have a local yarn store here called Necessities, and the owner is Vanessa Palacios. She is here on YouTube and Instagram as well. I actually purchased all of my yarn. This is the Chia Gu 3mm needles. I have to share my stitch marker, my beginning of round marker. It's a little t-shirt, super cute. So I got these Chia Gu bamboo needles from there. I got this really cute stitch marker from there. I got the Dolly Baby yarn from there, the M1 Kid Silk Mohair from there. And she is my go-to. I am not against Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby. In fact, I have also purchased yarn from there, but if I could help a local local store owner, I would do that hands down. So to say that, I bought this book because I recently have found that I'm kind of going through a little bit of imposter syndrome, and that's because I want to think I'm better than I am in the skill of knitting. And so I bought this book, and it's called Knitting for the Absolute Beginners, and I love it. I should have bought a book like this last year when I started knitting, but it goes through so many of the basic skills that you need to knit. And then it also comes with patterns do projects on. So here it talks about the garter stitch, and there's beautiful pictures. It's from Alison Dupernix. Yes. But it is absolutely wonderful. This is the simple sweater, and I believe this one is for children. There's patterns for adults, and it's just such a wonderful book for beginners. I do say that I've been knitting for a year, but my little hiatus while I was pregnant Sometimes I say I've only been knitting for a few months, but because I enjoy it so much and I try to perfect it, this is just such a wonderful asset in my new knitting library. So Knitting for the Absolute Beginner is such a great book to have. I have often referred to it when I needed to get a definition of something or learn a little bit more about a certain item. I'll go into the index and kind of roll back into the book to see what's there. Taylor Earle from Wool Needles Hands did a review of this particular book. Because of her review, and of course it was in our local yarn store, I did pick it up as a gift to myself, and I love it. It's the Knitting for Olive book. I'm a book person. In fact, when I was a little girl, my dad used to call me paper bug because I was always in a book. I was always writing something, drawing something. But if you're a book person, this book is just absolutely beautiful. First of all, the texture, how thick it is, the papers the sheets on the insides are matte. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I love the Danish style, the thinner style of knitwear. I love the simplicity and the timelessness. Yeah. Timeless. I don't know, it doesn't sound right, but the timelessness of it. But there's a number of items in here that I just love, and I'm going to show you after I'm done with the cinema sweater. I am going to cast on for this, and let me just look for it. I should definitely have a sticky for it. But these are just absolutely gorgeous. These patterns are for beginners all the way to those who are more advanced. And it's such a beautiful book. They did such an excellent job. I am looking for the sweater I want to make. Okay, this probably looks very similar to the cinema sweater, but it's called It's Not a Sweatshirt. And the pictures in here, I should say, also are just beautiful. Okay, so this is a sweater, and it's just amazing. Super simple. It looks super light. And in the beginning of every pattern, there is a description of what it is. And this one is called It's Not a Sweatshirt. Inspired by the quintessential sweatshirt, It's Not a Sweatshirt is a classic crew neck sweater with a raglan sleeves. Worked in the rounds from top to bottom and shaped using short rows. The sweater has a folded double neck and neat rib hem and cuffs. The sweater is worked in one strand of merino and one strand of soft silk mohair for the ultimate softness. And you can see in the picture it's absolutely soft. And here's a second sweater. It's called the Carl Johan sweater. One thing I love about this sweater are the long cuffs and the turtleneck and the long ribbing at the bottom of the sweater. Look how gorgeous that is. Absolutely gorgeous. And let's see what it's made with. Worked in the rounds, top to bottom. The sweater has a high roll neck, shoulders that extend seamlessly into sleeves, which are finished with deep ribbed cuffs that gives it the balloon effect. I love it. And it's Knitting for Olive merino wool and silk mohair. And it looks like it's just a one strand of each. Do you know how light that's going to be? How beautiful? Okay, there's another sweater I just saw. There's one more that I want to show you. And it's this beanie. It's called Fredericksburg Beanie. The Fredericksburg Berg Beanie is a fully reversible woolen hat that can be worn with either the stockinette stitch or pearl stitch side facing outwards. It's literally 2 hats in one. How amazing. The folded double layer of knitted fabric makes the hat extra warm. The hat is knitted in one piece from crown to the outer layer to the crown of the inner layer, which then it's folded into itself. Whoa. Whoa. It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And in fact, I think they have a similar color. It's worked top down, and I've never made a beanie top down. And the top down means that it's worked from the decreases up on the top. Here, let me show you on here. It's worked from here out, which means instead of from bottom up where you would do the decreases, which you see how it curves in, it's actually worked from here down. That's exciting. Anyways, I'm so excited to get into that book. And 2 more things I wanted to share with you. I do have an interest in designing knitwear, and that is pretty much designing my own patterns for beanies or scarves or sweaters. I am learning as much as I can so that I can eventually produce patterns. And for this particular book, I had found on Amazon, and it's called Designing Knitwear by Deborah Newton. It is such a wonderful book, and I say that it's wonderful because her language and how she writes, it almost seems like you're sitting right there in front of her. And there is like a vintage look to it, but it's Designing Knitwear by Deborah Newton, and I think I got it for a really good price on Amazon. So she goes into detail with some of her drawings and her descriptions to certain things. I was going through this book, and of course I've got things highlighted and marked. One of the things that she says in here really encouraged me, because once you get into this knitting community, this knitting corner, this knitting space, there is so much to learn. There is so much to grasp. There is so much to know, and things that matter, that is literally life or death for a particular item. And it's amazing that you have all of these feelings inside, and then here someone comes with all wisdom and like just sits you down and gives you a cup of coffee and tells you that it's okay. I love this book. So okay, so this is what she says, particularly about the knitting process. I just shared with you a bunch of the different things that went into this knitting world, but she lists a number of questions, and then she says this: if I want to get the process underway, I need to harness my excitement and start to make choices that will bring one major idea to the fore. I might store the ideas away or put them on hold only until I finish the current project. And I was going through this in my mind, all of these things at the same time. I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, and I was excited about this yarn and that yarn and these needles. Gosh, I was just so overwhelmed. Give me 1 second, baby's coming. At that, to rein in the excitement, I was just sold. I said, I need to do that. I just need to write down all of my ideas. Hey. Hey. Oh. Do you want to say hi? Say hello. Say hello. So I got a journal and I started writing all of my ideas down. And I was just so thrilled that I got that pointer through this book. So let's see. Loving the book. I think I'm in chapter 2 now about designing knitwear. Give me one moment. Finish what you got in front of you. If you want to start, you can, but no, you have to finish what's in front of you. That meant the world to me. I heard, what I heard here is that someone hears me, someone understands me, and just super excited about it. Okay, so I'm in this book right now, Designing Knitwear. I am loving this Knitting for Olive book. Just beautiful. 20 modern knitting patterns for the iconic Danish brand. And then I have this as well, and it's just an amazing books right now. I do have another one on the way that should be arriving this week, and it's also about designing knitwear as well. Okay, one more other tool I wanted to share with you, and it is this Luca interchangeable needle set. I also got it from our local yarn store, Necessities, and I love everything about it. I am missing needles because they are in a project bag that you probably see right here. And this is bamboo needles, and it comes with a number of different size interchangeable cords, and this is super beneficial. Of course, you can knit in the flat and you can knit in the round with these particular needles, and they have just been a tremendous blessing to me, just because every needle I needed is in here. With the exception of the 3mm needle, there is this only goes up to 3.5, and for this particular project I needed a 3mm needle, which is what I got. I also got different ones. So this is the Luca interchangeable needle set. The needles that are on my collar portion of the cinema sweater, I am on Chia Goo bamboo, I think they are, needles, because I wanted to try a different set of needles. I have the clover set as well. I think I have 4 interchangeable needles with 2 different cords, but I wanted to try this one because I also heard that this was really good needles, and I agree. They're really, really nice. These are much lighter than the Driftwood Luca set, and a little bit heavier than the Clover bamboo set. So either way, I love having everything that I need, just fingerprint away. Just whatever, it is real close to me is what I'm trying to say. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this time, and thank you so much for allowing me in your space. I hope you enjoyed a little peek visit of my 2-month-old daughter, and I hope to see you again. Bye-bye.